Introduction to AWS WAF. 1. What is AWS WAF? AWS Web Application Firewall, WAF, is a web application firewall that helps protect web applications or APIs against common web exploits and bots that may affect availability, compromise security, or consume excessive resources. 2. Core features of AWS WAF includes customizable web security rules, real-time metrics and logging, and protection against common attack patterns. 3. Rule and condition types. AWS WAF supports various rules and conditions to filter web traffic, like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and size constraints. 4. Integration with AWS services. Seamlessly integrates with services like Amazon CloudFront, Application Load Balancer, and Amazon API Gateway. 5. Monitoring and logging. Integration with Amazon CloudWatch for monitoring and AWS CloudTrail for logging WAF activities. 6. Pricing and cost management. AWS WAF follows a pay-as-you-go pricing model based on the number of rules deployed and the amount of web traffic inspected. Advanced management in AWS WAF. 1. Custom rule development, creating custom rules tailored to specific application needs and threat landscape. 2. Automated WAF rule management, utilizing AWS Lambda and other automation tools for dynamic rule management. 3. Managing false positives and negatives, fine-tuning WAF rules to minimize incorrect blocking or allowing of traffic. 4. Layered security approach, combining AWS WAF with other security services for a robust defense strategy. 5. Compliance and security standards, ensuring compliance with standards like PCI DSS, HIPAA, etc., through proper configuration and deployment of AWS WAF. 6. Best practices for WAF deployment, regularly updating rule sets, monitoring logs, and testing configurations to ensure optimal protection. VPC endpoints and network security in AWS. 1. Understanding VPC endpoints. VPC endpoints enable private connections between Amazon VPC and AWS services without the need for a public IP address or traversing the public internet. 2. Types of VPC endpoints includes interface endpoints, private link, and gateway endpoints, each serving different use cases and AWS services. 3. Security benefits of VPC endpoints provide secure, private connectivity to AWS services, enhancing network security by keeping traffic within the AWS network. 4. Network access control lists, NACLs, stateless filters that can be used to control inbound and outbound traffic at the subnet level in a VPC. 5. Security groups in VPC act as a stateful firewall for EC2 instances, controlling both inbound and outbound traffic at the instance level. 6. Best practices for VPC network security include using VPC endpoints for AWS services, minimizing the use of public IP addresses, regularly reviewing NACLs and security group rules, and segmenting networks into subnets for different use cases. Advanced network security with VPC endpoints. 1. Endpoint policies for security. Utilize endpoint policies to precisely control how services are accessed through the endpoint. 2. Private DNS for endpoints. Leverage private DNS names for endpoints to simplify the DNS management within a VPC. 3. Monitoring VPC endpoint connections. Use VPC flow logs and AWS CloudWatch to monitor and log the traffic passing through VPC endpoints. 4. VPC peering and endpoints. Understand how VPC peering can be combined with endpoints for inter-VPC communication. 5. Hybrid cloud network security. Considerations for securing hybrid cloud architectures using AWS VPN, AWS Direct Connect, and VPC endpoints. 6. Compliance and auditing with VPC endpoints. Ensure compliance with organizational and regulatory standards by auditing VPC endpoint usage and configurations. Introduction to AWS Macie. 1. Overview of AWS Macie. AWS Macie is a security service that uses machine learning and pattern matching to discover and protect sensitive data in AWS. 2. Key features of Macie includes automatic and continuous discovery of sensitive data, data classification, and anomaly detection. 3. Data classification and discovery. Macie classifies and prioritizes sensitive data such as personally identifiable information, PII, or intellectual property. 4. Automated data monitoring. Continuously monitors data access and movement for anomalies that indicate potential security threats or risks. 5. Integrating Macie with other AWS services, works with services like Amazon S3 and AWS CloudTrail for enhanced data security and monitoring. 6. Compliance and data privacy, helps in meeting regulatory compliance requirements related to data privacy, such as GDPR and HIPAA. Best practices and advanced features in AWS Macie. 1. Setting up Macie for optimal performance, tips on configuring Macie for effective monitoring, including proper setup of the S3 buckets. 2. Custom data identifiers, how to create custom data identifiers for specific types of sensitive data unique to your organization. 3. Alerting and incident response, utilizing Macie's alerting system for timely detection of potential threats and orchestrating incident response. 4. Access control and permissions, best practices for managing access to Macie and its findings to ensure data security. 5. Analyzing and reporting findings, techniques for analyzing Macie findings and integrating them into security reports. 6. Cost management in AWS Macie, strategies for managing costs associated with using AWS Macie, such as optimizing the number of S3 buckets monitored. Introduction to AWS Shield. 1. Overview of AWS Shield. AWS Shield is a managed distributed denial of service, DDoS, protection service that safeguards applications running on AWS. 2. AWS Shield Standard versus Advanced. AWS Shield Standard provides basic DDoS protection for all AWS customers at no extra cost, while AWS Shield Advanced offers enhanced protections with additional features for higher security needs. 3. DDoS protection mechanisms, includes always-on detection and automatic inline mitigations that minimize application downtime and latency. 4. Integration with AWS services. AWS Shield can be integrated with services like Amazon CloudFront, Elastic Load Balancing, ELB, and Amazon Route 53. 5. Real-time monitoring and reporting, offers real-time metrics and reports via AWS CloudWatch and AWS WAF for enhanced visibility. 6. Pricing and availability. AWS Shield Standard is available to all AWS customers at no additional charge, while AWS Shield Advanced requires a subscription fee. Advanced management and best practices with AWS Shield. 1. Custom protection policies, how to create and implement custom protection policies tailored to specific applications and needs in AWS Shield Advanced. 2. Emergency Response Team, ERT, access. AWS Shield Advanced provides 24/7 access to the AWS DDoS Response Team, DRT, for escalated issues. 3. Cost protection feature. AWS Shield Advanced offers protection against scaling charges resulting from a DDoS attack. 4. Automated threat detection and mitigation, utilizing automated processes to quickly identify and mitigate potential DDoS threats. 5. Integration with AWS WAF, combining AWS Shield with AWS WAF for a more comprehensive security posture. 6. Regular security assessments and testing, importance of conducting regular assessments and testing to ensure the effectiveness of DDoS protection measures. Introduction to AWS Certificate Manager. 1. Overview of AWS Certificate Manager. AWS Certificate Manager, ACM, is a service that lets you easily provision, manage, and deploy public and private SSL/TLS certificates for use with AWS services and internal connected resources. 2. Certificate Management. ACM handles the complexity of creating and managing public SSL/TLS certificates and keys. It supports the issuance and renewal processes. 3. Integration with AWS services. Seamlessly integrates with services like AWS Elastic Load Balancing, Amazon CloudFront, Amazon API Gateway, and others. 4. Automated certificate renewal. Provides automatic renewals of certificates, reducing the manual efforts and risks associated with expired certificates. 5. Security and compliance. Helps in meeting compliance requirements for encrypted data in transit and ensures a high level of security. 6. Pricing and limitations. ACM offers its basic services at no extra cost for AWS resources but has certain limitations regarding certificate issuance and management. Advanced features and best practices in AWS Certificate Manager. 1. Private Certificate Authority, CA. AWS Certificate Manager Private Certificate Authority allows you to create and manage your own private CA to issue certificates for internal networks. 2. Domain validation options. Understanding different validation methods for domain ownership like DNS validation and email validation. 3. Exporting certificates. Guidelines for exporting certificates and private keys for use outside of AWS services. 4. Security best practices, includes using strong encryption, regular audits, and adhering to security standards. 5. Auditing and monitoring, utilize AWS CloudTrail and Amazon CloudWatch for monitoring certificate issuance, renewals, and usage. 6. Certificate transparency, ensuring that SSL/TLS certificates are logged in public logs, enhancing the security and transparency of certificate issuance. Introduction to AWS Systems Manager. 1. Overview of AWS Systems Manager. AWS Systems Manager provides visibility and control of your AWS and on-premises infrastructure. It centralizes operational data and automates tasks across your AWS resources. 2. Core functionalities, includes resource visualization, compliance monitoring, automation of operational tasks, and remote management. 3. Resource group management, organize resources by applications using Systems Manager resource groups for streamlined management. 4. Automation and scripting, automate common and repetitive IT operations and management tasks using Systems Manager automation. 5. Patch management, simplify patching processes for servers and VMs with Systems Manager Patch Manager. 6. Operational insights, gain operational insights with Systems Manager Ops Center and Explorer to identify issues and act on them quickly. Advanced usage of AWS Systems Manager. 1. Parameter store, use Parameter store to manage configuration data and secrets securely. 2. State Manager, ensure your EC2 and hybrid infrastructure is in a desired state with State Manager. 3. Session Manager, provide shell access to EC2 instances securely without managing SSH keys, through Session Manager. 4. Inventory Management, collect and query configuration and inventory information from your AWS resources. 5. Change Management and Compliance, use Systems Manager Change Manager to manage changes and ensure compliance with your policies. 6. Integrating with AWS services, discuss how Systems Manager integrates with other AWS services like Amazon S3, Amazon CloudWatch, and AWS Lambda for a more comprehensive management approach. AWS Compliance and Governance Tools. 1. AWS Config, a service that enables you to assess, audit, and evaluate the configurations of your AWS resources. It provides a detailed view of the configuration of AWS resources in your account, including how they are related to one another and how they were configured over time. 2. AWS CloudTrail, records AWS API calls for your account and delivers log files. It provides governance, compliance, and risk auditing by keeping track of user activity and API usage. 3. AWS Identity and Access Management, IAM, helps in securely controlling access to AWS services and resources. IAM can be used to create and manage AWS users and groups and use permissions to allow and deny their access to AWS resources. 4. AWS Key Management Service, KMS, a managed service that makes it easy for you to create and control the encryption keys used to encrypt your data. KMS is integrated with other AWS services to help you protect the data you store with these services. 5. AWS Organizations, an account management service that enables you to consolidate multiple AWS accounts into an organization that you create and centrally manage. 6. AWS Audit Manager, helps you continuously audit your AWS usage to simplify how you assess risk and compliance with regulations and industry standards. Best practices in AWS compliance and governance. 1. Implementing a strong IAM policy, create and enforce strict user and role-based policies to control access to resources and services. 2. Regular auditing with AWS Config and CloudTrail, regularly audit and monitor your AWS environment with AWS Config and CloudTrail for unusual activities and compliance with policies. 3. Encryption and data protection, utilize AWS KMS for encryption needs and protect sensitive data across AWS services. 4. Compliance automation, leverage AWS Audit Manager and other tools to automate the compliance auditing process. 5. Continuous monitoring and alerts, set up continuous monitoring and alerting mechanisms for real-time awareness of any configuration or compliance changes. 6. Resource and account segmentation, use AWS organizations for account segmentation, improving security and governance by isolating resources and operations. Introduction to AWS Guard Duty. 1. Overview of AWS Guard Duty. AWS Guard Duty is a threat detection service that continuously monitors for malicious or unauthorized behavior to help protect your AWS accounts and workloads. 2. Threat detection capabilities utilizes various detection methods including anomaly detection, machine learning, and known threat signatures to identify potential threats. 3. Anomaly detection and machine learning employs advanced machine learning techniques to detect unusual behavior and potentially unauthorized or malicious activity within your AWS environment. 4. Integration with AWS services seamlessly integrates with services like Amazon CloudWatch, AWS Lambda, and AWS S3 for enhanced security analysis and response. 5. Alerting and reporting provides findings of potential threats which can be viewed in the Guard Duty console or through Amazon CloudWatch events, enabling automated alerting and reporting. 6. Pricing and cost effectiveness offers a pay-as-you-go pricing model, with costs based on the quantity of AWS data analyzed by the service. Best practices and advanced features in AWS Guard Duty. 1. Continuous monitoring and assessment. Keep Guard Duty enabled to continuously monitor and assess your AWS environment for security threats. 2. Custom threat lists and IP lists. Utilize custom threat lists and trusted IP lists to enhance detection tailored to your specific environment. 3. Automated response to findings. Leverage AWS Lambda and other automation services to respond to Guard Duty findings automatically. 4. Account and VPC level protection. Apply Guard Duty at both the account and VPC level for comprehensive protection. 5. Integrating with incident response workflows. Integrate Guard Duty with existing incident response and security operations workflows for streamlined security management. 6. Managing Guard Duty across multiple accounts. Use AWS organizations to manage and aggregate Guard Duty findings across multiple AWS accounts. Thanks for watching.